I've been coaching social skills live in the field all over the world for 21 years now. And today I want to lay on you what I believe is the biggest single reason that most people fail. And it's this: they don't do what actually works. They don't do stuff that corresponds to reality. They don't even acknowledge reality. Reality isn't the way that you wish things were or how you even think they are. Reality is how things actually are. Acknowledge this and use it to your benefit, because if you don't, it will work against you. And look, I went through this phase as well. Pretty much all throughout my early 20s, I bought into the social conditioning. I bought into the cultural brainwashing of how everything should be like a nice, happy rom-com. And I ended up with this idealistic picture of how I'd have liked things to work. As a result, I got my ass kicked and my heart broken, figuratively, again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And I eventually arrived at a point where I had to either accept those realities and adapt to them, or throw in the towel, just give up and get up out the game. You know, as I said, I've got a lot of clients who, when I tell them certain things that might seem counterintuitive to them, but that are things that I've noticed, like these behaviors don't work, these behaviors tend to work a lot better. Do that. But they're like, I don't want to do that. I want the game to be beautiful. You should not bemoan the fact that the parameters are a certain way. In fact, you should be happy that you know what the fucking parameters are, because quite frankly, the vast majority of people do not. So what are some examples of this? We'll talk with like one of the very basic ones, you know, the wish versus the reality. The wish. You want to date your crush? Well, it's best just to be upfront and honest with them about your feelings. Go up, confess how you feel. They're going to respect you for this. They're going to see the light. The clouds will part. The birds will sing. You'll walk off together into an enchanted forest, and you'll live happily ever after. Okay, what's the reality of that? You know, we've likely all had an experience of that nature. I remember in 8th grade, I was really enamored with this girl named Heather. And so I wrote a note to her, not even a note, it was like a bona fide love letter. And then I snuck up to her porch and like left it on the porch in like a handwritten letter in an envelope. And what do you think happened with that? Do you think that she like sought me out and was like, the letter, oh man, it was like, what is that? That Love Actually, where the guy's like on the front porch, Andrew Lincoln with the cards, you know, she's gonna fall head over heels. No. Actually, what happened is she told all of like our mutual friends, you know, people, everyone in the school, and I did this over the 8th grade like summer. And then so when school started again, I went into 9th grade. It was like the gossip joke of the class. Like the letter, oh, the love letter. And people were just giving me shit about it. It was not a pleasant experience, okay? That was the reality. All right, what's another example of wish versus reality? I'll say to a client, hey, go up and introduce yourself over there. And so they go up, and rather than say something fun or interesting or can, you know, say something, continue to talk, they'll go up and they'll say, hey, tap, tap. The person turns and they go, what's up? So that's the wish. The wish is you can just go up and say, hey, what's up? And the person that you introduce yourself to is going to be like, oh, what's up? I'm glad you asked. I'm having just a ball and a hell of a time tonight. I'm so glad you came up to me and asked that question. You know, because I've been really wanting to talk to someone. So what's your name? Who are you? I'm now going to uphold this conversation, stranger that I don't even fucking know. Is that the reality? No, that is not the reality. That's not what's going to happen. I'll tell you what the reality is. They go, what's up? The person's going to be like, huh? And just turn away. Or in best case scenario, maybe engage them for a short time and then politely excuse themselves. Along a similar line, let's say that they do actually, you know, kind of hook their attention. The wish. Now I can just ask logical questions. What do you do? Where do you live? Where did you go to school? Do you like it? Do you come to this place often? And that's just going to spark interest and attraction, and we're going to hit it off, and there's going to be an amazing connection. Okay, the reality, attraction is more about chemistry and connection than logical reasoning. In other words, people are drawn to other people who make them feel good, who can create a good vibe, who they can share an actual connection with. Have you ever tried to logically convince somebody that it was a good idea to hook up with you or like you? Probably didn't turn out too well. The problem with this approach is it can make that conversation feel very cold, it can feel analytical, and this can sort of dampen that sense of excitement and intrigue and interest that is necessary for successful persuasion, for attraction, for interest. It makes that buying temperature, that captivated state, go cold. Because logical information cannot coexist with the emotional vibe that creates attraction. You want to keep the vibe light, you want to keep it fun, you want to keep it emotionally engaging, while simultaneously owning your intentions and kind of moving things forward, right? You want to be talking about opinions and feelings as opposed to having it be this boring information exchange. 95% of the time, that logic's going to serve you very, very well. If you're trying to meet people socially or have social interactions at a party or whatever, it will not serve you well. In fact, people will just get bored. They'll start to tune out. They'll be like, oh, this. And again, since so much of your conversations in your rest of your life are logical, a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their head around this reality. What's another example of wish versus reality? A lot of times I see students and they're not enjoying themselves in the environment at all. In fact, they're kind of contemplating, they're very down, their energy is very low. And then they go up and approach somebody, and it's this vibe where they're kind of like leeching energy off of the other person. In other words, it's like they see people having fun and they're like, okay, I'm gonna go weasel my way into their fun. And then if it works, then I'll be happy, right? So in other words, they're trying to, again, ask for validation. They're trying to ask for good emotions. They're trying to ask for energy. In reality, this doesn't work. Most people are not gonna respond well to that because they're out there trying to have a good time, and anything that does not contribute to that is just going to be dismissed. They're going to be like, no, get out of here, right? Because it's got a competitive energy. It's got a needy, desperate vibe of like, make me feel good, give me validation. The reality is this, and I tell students this, it is a prerequisite that you're enjoying yourself in the environment first before you go up. Because then it's a collaborative vibe. It's not a competitive vibe where if I don't get in, it doesn't work, I feel like I'm diminished, I'm a fucking loser. Rather, it's like, look, I'm already enjoying myself in the environment. I'm going up to add some of that energy to your night and then invite you to meet me in the middle, and then we can collaborate and create something new. That tends to get a much better reaction because it's non-needy. And this is just a fact. This is the reality. Again, I hate to be the bearer of fucking bad news, but if you can't enjoy yourself before you go approach somebody, like, what's cool about this environment? I'm dancing, I'm having fun, I'm talking to my friends, I'm noticing something awesome, I'm digging the vibe. I'm moving to the beat of the music. I'm kind of like, I'm enjoying myself. I have like an actual smile on my face because I'm having fun, and I'm gonna add that to somebody else's night, and I'm gonna invite them in. That's the reality. If you can't do that, your interactions aren't even gonna get off the ground. And I am just the messenger. Don't get mad at me. I cannot alter reality. I wish that I could, but I can't. So the sooner that you acknowledge the reality and accept it and adapt, the better off you're gonna be, and you're gonna save yourself a lot of heartache. All right? Let me lay on you a couple more facts about reality here that might help you out. One day, and not really that long from now in the grand scheme of things, one day you're gonna die. So you might as well go after it and get it as quickly as possible. Do not lose your only opportunity to play the game because you're fucking scared. Get at it, get what you can, have as much fun as you can while the sun shines. And speaking of which, beyond that, in 1 billion years, the sun's gonna fucking explode anyway, so who cares? It's all a game. Why not have some fun with it and try to win as much as you can while you're here? Social skills can be improved. They can. This is a true thing. I see it every single weekend. I've been doing it professionally. It's my job. It's not even my job. It's my calling. People that take my program, if they apply this stuff, they will become better at cold approach and meeting people than 90% of the population. That sounds crazy, but it's not even a fucking exaggeration. Why? Because the bar is so low. Most people, like think about your coworkers or something. If you were out at a bar and you tried to get them to approach somebody, the vast majority simply wouldn't be able to do it. You'd have to cajole them, browbeat them, maybe get them drunk, ridicule them, and even then they might not do it. So again, if you have the ability to competently strike up a conversation with somebody you see and have it, a pretty good likelihood of it being well received. And then if they're in the right headspace, you'll have the ability to put forth an invitation that's likely to be accepted. That alone puts you ahead of 90% of the population. But you've got to acknowledge and act upon a couple concepts. Number one, you have to really define what the results that you want are. You don't just want to say like, oh, I just want to get out there and put myself out there. It's like, no. I want to date this many people. I want to get this many more friends. I want to get this many more clients. Number two, what are the increased demands that are going to be put upon you and put on your communication system in order to achieve those goals? Like what you're doing right now isn't going to get you there. So again, acknowledge the reality, get that clear-eyed understanding of the reality of what you're going to have to do to get those results. Number three, you got to start to understand how your conditioning is preventing you from taking the actions and exhibiting the behaviors that would get you those results, using your energies in the way that would get you those results. And then last but not least, okay, I understand all that. Now what do I do about all that? And that's where you got to develop some sort of methodical exercise process that's going to get you from A to B. And that's exactly what I give you in my programs, whether it's my online mentoring, whether it's the boot camps where you go out live. Those programs, you're with a very tight squad of like-minded individuals, savage-ass coaches like myself and my assistants. We break it down. We actually give you a ton of tools that allow you to push off that social pressure. And then when we go out and we hit the field, again, I'm there demonstrating and coaching you in real time, so you don't just freeze up and go into that paralyzed mode. You can actually realize what's happening, and then you have the ability to shake that off, stay expansive, stay out of your head, and then actually take action and be effective as opposed to getting shut down, right? And then that's when you get those real world results. And the link for those programs, I'm going to put them in the description here as always. But anyway, hope this helped you. This is your proverbial boy bringing you a shot of reality. Ignore it at your peril, and I'll see you next time.